Okay, hello interwebs. I want to talk about some headlines today. Specifically one headline that will tie into other headlines or even things that aren't headlining that people should be aware of, maybe. So I'll tell you what. There's a lot of talk going on today about why the most important thing when it comes to a religious leader is their desire to stand behind nuclear weapons and be strong when it comes to using weapons and be tough on crime. And I didn't know that was usually like, apparently the Pope is not nukey enough. But I was thinking about it, right? Because like the IMF spring meetings are this week too. The IMF World Bank spring meetings are this week as well. And I haven't seen Christine Lagarde say one thing about it yet. Now, Kristalina Georgieva, she's like all over the place. She has a beautiful picture up on Facebook today. She'll check it out, like it, tell her she looks amazing. Wish her luck on the meetings. Wish Quarter good luck later this week when they speak at the thing. Now, what does it have to do with the Pope? What does Christine Lagarde and Kristalina Georgieva have to do with the Pope? What does the IMF have to do with the Pope? But let's go back to Christine Lagarde because she's been really quiet. Really quiet. And so I went and checked out Christine Lagarde's page today because I'm just hoping maybe the media is just not covering her. Maybe I need to go directly to her page. And I'll check out her Twitter or whatever later. But so like a couple days ago, she had posted about Bulgaria adopting the euro. And I was like, well, that's not directly saying something about the IMF. But it kind of is because the director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, was born in Bulgaria. And they adopted the euro, right? So what does that have to do with the Pope? What does Christine Lagarde being Catholic have to do with the Pope? Well, maybe it doesn't so much have to do directly with the Pope. Maybe I should explain, first of all, I'm smoking a doobie, by the way. I'm in Michigan. Maybe I should explain who Christine Lagarde is. She's the head banker of Europe. So she's like the central bank, what do they call them? Well, I don't know if she's called a governor there. Not like Trudeau was the governor, right? But like how, well, she's in charge of the euro. She's the president of the central bank of Europe. So she's kind of like, so America, like the equivalent would be, who is that? I can't think of his name. Oh my God, the Fed guy. The guy that's always cutting rates. Powell. She'd be like the Powell equivalent, right? But here's a little unknown fact, and this is why Trump is seemingly attacking the Pope out of nowhere, except it's really not. Because go back to the IMF spring meetings happening, and all these world leaders are speaking at it. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's an extension of WEF. I want to say that the IMF maybe helped put up WEF to begin with, as did a lot of other banks, right? But did you know that the Vatican uses the euro? Now, who's weak on nuclear weapons? Some people might say that CERN's weak on nuclear weapons because they're just researching how to make black holes to hopefully suck all these stupid Americans. I mean, excuse me. I think what I was trying to say is it wasn't just a random whatever. A lot of the dumb shit that Trump says, if you read between the lines, kind of like when he called Trudeau a governor. He wasn't like trying to insult Trudeau, saying that he'd be a governor of a state or whatever. He's trying to call him a banker, basically. Tongue-in-cheek calling him a banker. Just like this is tongue-in-cheek telling the Pope, you should start using the United States dollar. That's what it is. If nothing else, maybe I'll get a job with Europe someday, right? So yeah. So it wasn't a misdirected, out of the blue. It really had nothing to do with the Pope's ability to use nuclear weapons or anything like that. Trump wants the Vatican to dump the euro and take on the dollar. Now, Vatican City, like whatever, they're sovereign. They're a sovereign nation or whatever, but they use through some special arrangement. I don't know how it works. I don't want to know how it works, but they use the euro. And I'm pretty sure that like Europe was going to make a kind of a centralized, decentralized digital euro. I know this because I've been following it for a while. And when I jumped on Lagarde's page today, there was somebody's like, oh, no digital euro. I'm like, all right, then you get to have a digital yuan. And then I wondered if that wasn't part of the reason why Christine Lagarde has been like vocal, but also kind of silent about these IMF World Bank meetings. Because she probably wants the euro to win. And I feel like that, so Kristalina Georgieva, I love her. I love both of these women. They're amazing women. They're smart, beautiful, talented, amazing power bankers, right? But I think that like Kristalina Georgieva might want to make things a little bit more fair for China and might be kind of also rooting for the digital yuan, if I had to guess. And I know that if I had a friend that was like also a banker leader or tech or whatever. So let's just use tech. And like I was working on this one project and I supported this one platform or projects or whatever, this tech project. And then my girlfriend like kind of also did, but was more helping a competitor, if that makes any sense. So let's just say that Kristalina Georgieva is trying to like get the Chinese yuan more power, be it digital or otherwise. And I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I know that there was some history there when it comes to Georgieva and the yuan and China and things like that. Again, I don't really like whatever. I think that it'd be great. So here's my counter to Trump. Because he probably wasn't, I mean, maybe he was expecting this from America, but maybe not. I think that it'd be great if Americans could buy and hold digital euros, or even the digital yuan, because I'd probably hold some of that too. But imagine a world where we don't just have various cryptocurrencies, but like I can buy and hold a digital euro. Now I'm a pretty broke ass American, right? So it wouldn't be very much, but like I have I have saved up and now I can buy 5 euros, for example, right? You know, but just imagine a world where, and maybe this is every country, right? We connect them all through XRP or Algorand or like a whole chain of things, so no one person has too much power and no one country has too much power. We put the power in the hands of the people that are spending the money and investing the money and whatever. So then if people don't want to support war, then they might go to use their saved euros. They might utilize the euro in any given week or month or whatever until the war stops. And then when this country does something right, then they start using their other currency. It's just a little side thought, I guess. I mean, probably nothing come out of it or whatever. But anyway, that's the long and short of it. I mean, maybe Trump's concerned that like the Pope isn't nuking people, but I don't think that that's what it was about. And now you know. And the more you know, well, the more you know. And information is good, especially in an information war. Now, do I really feel like unpacking what he said about Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson? Nah, not really. The Pope's way bigger than all that. So, for the record, I think that Vatican City can use whatever dang currency they want. You know why? Because God said so, and because at least the Catholics, like, you're allowed to pray to Mother Mary, I'm pretty sure. I think that's cool. Like, they didn't forget about the goddess, even though it's not in goddess form, if that makes any sense. But then again, Mother of God would also have to be... well, never mind. It's another story for another day. Cats are cool. Most cats are cool. And you know what? So is the director of the IMF and the director of the central bank. And some Americans are pretty cool too, sometimes. All right, anyway, that's my video. Peace, love, like kittens, euros, dollars, and fuck war. Doodles.